Thank you so much.
I'm glad you are with us.
Yes, my sister invited me.
Okay. So it's
Thank
your first
you.
time.
Yes, yes.
Okay. And then you are welcome.
So much. I'm looking forward to it.
Yes. From where are you, Donna?
I'm in Joburg in Craighill Park.
Okay. Okay. Great. South
So,
Africa still.
trading in, yes, yes.
No, it's great. You can just sit back and relax. We are waiting for a few more people.
Super. Thank you so much.
Okay. Hi, Tandy. Welcome.
Thank you.
We are glad you are with us tonight.
I'm also happy.
Hi, Antoinette.
I missed my family.
Oh, welcome to the family as well. Hallo Antoinette, welkom.
Ilse, dankie.
Ons is bly jy's weer met ons. Hi Darren, welcome. And daar's Debbie. Debbie is with us. Hello Debbie.
Hello, Ilse. Sorry, my mute was on.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Hi Debbie, ons is welkom. Jy's ook bietjie slag hier.
We couldn't turn on the camera.
Yeah. Another Debbie. Welcome. Debbie and Debbie. A lot of these tonight. Can you put on the aircon, please? I'm dying. So we just give another minute or so for the people to join, and then we can start. Hi Debbie, welkom. Dit vanaand weer 'n oop aantjie by die huis. Okay. We just give another minute for people to join us, and then we can start. Debbie, kan jy my hoor? Stop trying.
Netwerk.
Ja, sy, daar hoor ek jou. Daar het ek jou gehoor. Jy's gemute nou net daar aan jou kant.
Good evening, everybody. Hallo,
Ilse.
Ilse.
Welkom by ons. Okay. Let's do it tonight. So welcome everybody. If it's your first time, a special welcome. And for all the people who've been with me for quite some time, just welcome again. You know my introduction story, but for the new people, I will share that. Yeah, I will share my screen with you and just give you a little bit of background on where do we come from with Light to Live. So just adding people. Hi, Roxanne, welcome. So I'm Ilse. I'm from Light to Live. I'm a nutrition and lifestyle coach, and I've been on this journey for about 20 years now. And we believe we can help people to rewrite their stories, even if you don't like your stories. So I'm a nutrition and lifestyle coach. I've been coaching my family for 20 years, but since 2016, I started coaching first of all moms, and then it expanded to more to families and professionals and people like that. So this is our family. Our eldest daughter got married in 2023. It was not always a happy family, because when my kids were young, they were very ill. My husband was diagnosed with arthritis. At the age of 30, I had chronic IBS. My kids were constantly ill in hospital. It was just a sad, sad story. So weren't very excited about the story that we were currently living at that stage 20 years ago, and we changed our lifestyle over a holiday. I bought a book, we started training, did everything according to the book, and realized that is working. So that's where my nutrition journey started with my kids. I bought every book I could lay my hands on to help them reverse their allergies, and my little one was constantly in hospital with her lungs, and it didn't work out well, but within 6 months we could reverse everything, and since then there was no illness or anything in our home. So my husband got rid of all his arthritis pains, I got rid of my IBS. My kids were suddenly healthy kids, no more doctor's visits, hospital visits, none of that. For the past 20 years that was the case. So, and since then, I studied a lot of childhood nutritional development for the brain health and things like that. And when my little one went to school, the headmaster asked for parents to help them convert their tuck shop into a healthy canteen. And I obviously offered my help because I knew a lot about nutrition, and I said I would consult with them and give them advice, and in the end it ended up in my lap. So for 8 years I was running a healthy canteen at my kids' school. We threw out everything bad and we transformed it into a healthy tuck shop, or not a tuck shop, a canteen. It was the later Boulder restaurant with a walk-in kitchen, and a walk-in fridge and freezer, and it was a huge thing, place for 40 people. But we did it for 8 years. We created quite a following there, and I started to train moms as well. And we looked at children with learning disabilities, ADHD and things like that, where they struggle to concentrate in class. And the teachers told me that after a break, the kids were able to concentrate better in school. So, and I knew it worked because it worked for my kids, and it worked for a lot of kids. And I will tell you stories as we proceed. But this is the Power Hour, and this is why I want to inspire people. This is my whole purpose, to bring a little bit of hope and inspiration. If you have a struggle with that, or if you know somebody who has a child that is obese or overweight and is struggling to find out what is the right way to proceed forward. So, in essence, children are not made to be overweight and carry that burden of that. They are made to be healthy and learn through exploring life, adventure, playing around, and just learn how to develop themselves, their little bodies and their brains as they play. So this is what's childhood is about, to learn through play and not carry this heavy burden of a body that's not working properly, and with that all the other challenges as well. So if you think about childhood development, the first 7 years in your child's life is crucial for development. It is the foundation that is laid, and for the next 10 years while they are still growing, you are building on that foundation. And we all know if you don't have a strong foundation under your house, it will come crumbling down. And that's exactly the same with us as humans when our childhood foundation is not laid strong. So at the time when I grew up, our parents were preparing our own food, and it was simple, it was easy. We all had our own homegrown gardens, our fruit trees. Things were quite simple and easy. There were not a lot of franchises with fast food and things like that. It was basically for us on holidays that we had ice creams and things, soft serve, and that was a highlight of the holiday. But today it's not the case. And when my children went to school, I had a a dispute with the headmaster of the pre-primary school, because they had every Friday treat day where kids were would have to contribute 5 rand or 10 rand, I can't remember, to the school fund, and then they would get a lot of treats that the mums had to prepare. And some mums just bought all these Chinese junk food sweets that would put them on a sugar high with all these chemicals in it, and then you can't live with your own children at 1 o'clock. So I said to her, that's totally not acceptable to feed my children junk just for the sake of the fund of the school. I would rather pay the school more. But yeah, not all the parents agree on that. But it was the start of a transformed season in my life where I had to address the issues at schools where they have to make money, but many times it's at the expense of our children's health. So I believe with my whole heart a child should not carry the weight of a body that's overweight and unhealthy, and as well as the emotional issues added to that. I've worked so many with children at school who were put on a diet by the parents or somebody or some professional, and you could just see how it impacts them on an emotional level, let alone the physical side of that. So I'm totally against any diets for kids. So this is what the statistics shows us. For every 2-year-old now, there's 9% of them that's obese. Now, obese is more than just overweight. If it's your BMI is over 30, if your BMI is over 25, then you're overweight. If your BMI is over 50, then you're obese. So the 2-year-olds now will end up at age 35, 59% of them will be obese. And this is what we see time and time again. A fat child becomes an obese adult with all the extra baggage they have to carry through life. That's not necessary if they do life. If we can handle the problem now, it's not necessary for them to carry that burden throughout life. So there's so many burdens for kids with some extra weight. So this is the growth in obesity in America, and now we follow America very closely. In the 60s, it was like 5%. Now it's more like over 20% in 2018. It's exponentially growing for kids, where adults start to stabilize now, but it's still a growing curve. But for kids, it's really like between 400% and 1,000% growth in kids' obesity. So it's really a big problem. And if you think about little ones, the metabolisms are very fast. They are still growing. So they have to consume more calories or energy-dense foods than what their bodies can use in their growth process. So it's really a big issue for us. So, and what I've seen so many times, I had once a mom visiting our healthy canteen and asked me to put a party pack for the kids, for the little one, in my fridge. And she said she's so depressed because her grade 2 child, a daughter, was on antidepressants because she was so overweight. The kids were bullying her and making fun of her because she's overweight and she couldn't do things like the other kids could. And but when she brought the party pack to me, it was full of sodas and cupcakes and chips and all of the junk food. And I wondered, my goodness, yes, the reason why this poor kid is overweight. But sometimes people just don't see it. And I hope by now all parents understand the link between junk food and obese children. So being bullied is a real thing for overweight kids in school. Really, the kids are brutal with each other. And if it's only for that reason, as a parent, I would have make a big effort to help my child to lose the weight because they are really brutally bullied in school about their weight. So what happens when a fat child becomes an obese adolescent or a teenager or even a young lady or adult? Is this, except for the emotional stuff, it's also that their lifespan they have a shortened lifespan. So some of us will bury our own child because of obesity. They have heart disease, high blood pressure. I've seen children with high blood pressure in high school, and that's not supposed to be that way. And nowadays, with the energy drinks coming into play, we've seen an escalating effect of young adults, like between 18 and 24 years old, having heart attacks. Crazy. That was never heard of. But that's the thing coming into play. All this junk food has a real effect on their life expectancy. And then there's lifestyle diseases like heart disease, diabetes. Diabetes is really picking up speed exponentially under children. And it's not it's not fun being diagnosed with diabetes, especially diabetes 1. And this is the scary one that we see under children. And what happens when a child is diagnosed with type 1 diabetes is when their pancreas stop producing insulin and it stops working. It's a life-threatening disease. If they don't manage their blood sugar levels very well, that's very difficult in a school situation. Their life expectancy fall by 27 years. So you can think, 27 years. I had a friend. She was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes at the age of 10. She got blind at the age of 20, and she died at 27 years. And it was so sad for us as friends and as family. It was really, it was something else. So I would never wish that for any person. So instead of fearing what can happen to your child, let's look at what's possible solutions. So mental health issues, definitely. I had one beautiful young lady that joined my program. She's in her 20s, and her sister got married, and her dad told her, it's because of your weight that you can't get a husband. You can't find a husband. And I think that was brutal. He tried to help, but it didn't help at all. So that label around her neck that you're not good enough if you're not slim. If you're overweight, you're unloved. And I had clients like that in their 50s. The lady was she was a big baby, a long bone structure she was a long big baby, and her mother put her on a diet since the age of 5. And the story she told herself was that I can only be loved when I'm thin. And as she grew up, she realized I'm not good enough because I can't lose weight. So that was this downward spiral that I can't be loved because I'm not good enough, because I'm not thin, and I can't lose weight because I'm not good enough. So this thing was just spiraling down. And now at the age of 50, she has a lot of health issues that's really life-threatening, and she's been sad her whole life because of the weight. And her mom put her alone on diet, and not the rest of the family could eat whatever they want. So the baggage she had to carry her whole life was just extreme. So this label of I'm not good enough, most women are very hard on themselves. By default, we don't need an extra label to tell us we are not good enough. And this is the one thing that I'm trying to prevent with all my might with kids, especially kids and young girls. It's so hard for them to accept themselves anyway. So obesity, according to me, is not a child issue. It's a society issue. It's not the parent, the mom alone, or the dad alone, or the grandparents. It's the whole society who has to take responsibility. And we all know that if we don't take control as parents over what our children will eat, then there's a whole big food industry that wants to feed your child and will definitely feed your child what makes the most profit for them. They have no interest in your children's health. Even if they promise all the big promises on the cereal box about the added vitamins and minerals, that's pure nonsense. Your body is made to extract nutrients from real food, not from a cereal in a cereal box. So this is where we have to make the hard choices as parents, that I will do something to feed my child and not let an industry feed my child. And So here's some of the promises, and here and the marketing to kids is just extreme. You know, there's a reason why there's Spider-Man on an apple juice box. It is not just that they want to do it for fun. They know if they put Spider-Man on the box, more people will buy that. So in this case, it's at least just the apple juice, but the monkey on Cocoa Pops doesn't make the Cocoa Pops better, or Snap, Crackle, and Pop. There's a huge industry with a lot of research on marketing, on sensory marketing, that Snap, Crackle, and Pop, but you can hear that, or the Cocoa Pops with the fun element, all the happy hour toys that you get at McDonald's or the other fast food. There's a reason why they spend so much money on getting kids to buy their food or their whatever they sell to them. But a lot of these things, you can find it at tuck shops at schools, and it's just terrible for their insides. It doesn't do anything for them on the inside. So it's really harming this young people. So, and this is some statistics from Discovery about South Africa that was done in 2018. They bring out this report. So McDonald's says that South Africa is one of the most successful markets for McDonald's internationally. So if we think South Africa is a country that's a third world country with a lot of poverty, and they say that South Africa is one of the best markets. So what is going on there? And if you drove past a McDonald's, there's always people. Even in the middle of the night, there's always people. So McDonald's is, yeah, if that's the case, then it's also the case for the other industries. So junk food in South Africa is a big thing. Even for the people who don't have money to spend on a food budget, junk food is still something for them. But if you look at teenagers are maybe the group of people who eat the worst. My boy. They don't just buy a 330 ml of Coke. They buy a 2 liter. And they think they're invincible. So it's actually the culture between teenagers to have this a lot of junk food, because this is what teenagers eat. You can't catch them dead with or alive with some broccoli or something like that. But in the end, it has a real effect on their lives. So there's many lies in the food industry. We should never think that the industry that is so rich and powerful tells us the truth. If you think about milk, milk is made for humans and animals without teeth. So after you have grown your own teeth, you're not supposed to use milk. Then you are supposed to be weaned off milk. So milk is actually that one thing that we as humans see as normal, but actually in nature, as soon as the animal is weaned off and they have the teeth, then they don't use milk anymore. So cow's milk especially is designed for a calf. It's not designed for humans. So the calcium magnesium ratio is in such a way designed that it's optimal for the calf, but not for human consumption. So you don't get your calcium from milk. Actually, you lose more calcium when you drink milk than what you gain. It's not what's in the milk, it's what your body does with it. Does it get absorbed well? And it doesn't get absorbed well, the calcium from milk. You get better calcium from green veggies than what you get from milk. And they use the milk industry is very powerful and very strong. And in America, the milk industry writes the curriculums for the dietitians. So I don't know what the South African dietitians uses, but if I look at the food pyramid that they gave to the Americans, ours look very much similar. But I'm not going there. The whole point of the story is just that when there's more power and there's more money, there's more lies. And if you believe everything that's sold to you in a book, then they have us just where the food industry wants us to be. And we have to question it all the time. And my research have been done with Dr. Colin Campbell. he's a biochemist. He found the link between food and cancer in his research. I met him in person. He's from America. He did research in the Philippines, and in the Philippines, he found that there are many kids with liver cancer. And when he did the research, he found that it was the aflatoxin that smelled on peanuts that was the trigger for that. But interesting thing happened. There was kids that was affluent from affluent houses where there's milk and meat and things, and then there was very poor kids. In the Philippines is on the tropical. There's a tropical zone, so they lived basically off plants, and peanut butter was their only source of protein. But it was only the affluent kids who got liver cancer. But the kids who have that was poor, had nothing else but plants and rice, they didn't get the liver cancer. So he started investigating that, and he found that milk was one of the triggers of cancer promoting tumors. So that was just one of the parts of research done with calcium and milk protein. So yeah, I'm not a big fan of milk, as you can see. Also, lactose intolerance is very real. Milk has an impact on gut health. And my eldest girl was she was a little one with covered in eczema when she was like 5 weeks old, and I could never find what was the link until like 2 years later, after grommets and sinus and a lot of things, where she had I found that she was lactose intolerant. So the moment I took away her milk, then everything started to settle down, and the skin is beautiful today. So you have to know what is behind everything that your child experiences. So let's ask the question, why are we struggling? And as I said, my child is allergic or sensitive to some foods. The two main culprits is dairy, with cheeses for kids, and gluten, because the bread that we get today is still is not the same bread that was in the old times. So if your kid is allergic, then you should find what is going on here. Okay. And most of the time, there are about 9 allergens, but you start with the gluten and the milk. Okay. So, and another one is many parents says, I don't have time to prepare healthy food. Yes, but what is the next best thing that you can do for your children to help them eat healthy? Because if they don't eat healthy, they will end up being sick or obese or whatever, and then we have to deal with the problem. So when my kids were that ill, I was just so desperate that I said I would stop everything for 3 months. If I have to focus on this alone, then I will just stop it and focus on nutrition alone. And what I found when my kids were little is that every time I had to take a big step, I took some holiday or time off to make that big step, so that I can have some space to just focus on one thing at a time. So this is the first part, to ask yourself, how can you make some time to prepare healthy food, and then investigate how to prepare that. And then another thing that's a big thing, many people tell me, moms tell me, my child does not eat healthy food. So a kid's palate is basically a blank when they are born, and they start to develop flavors and taste as they grow up, and they start to explore with new foods. But when we eat junk food, it basically hijacks your palate, and you can't taste natural foods. So if a child is used to junk food, they are not going to enjoy an apple or things like that, because in junk foods, the flavor profile is very strong, like MSG and things like that. And I saw the same thing at school. When I started with healthy foods, then the kids the kids on junk food didn't like that. And as soon as they started to downtone on the junk food and they started to eat more natural, then they started to enjoy healthier foods. So it's a slow transition. But if you are serious about that, take away the junk food there. Okay, so it's not does not take that long. I have a family on my program, a dad, a mom, and their 2 kids. And after 2 weeks, the dad said to me, "You know, we are doing so well on this program. And last week I ate a breakfast, a junk food breakfast, and it tastes horrible. It tastes like cardboard." And I said, "Fantastic. So now your palate is starting to clean up." And this is what will happen. You will taste the real peach again, and the mango will be so sweet. And this is what we are working towards if we are trying to help our children eating natural foods. So there's this myth that healthy food is expensive. Medical expenses is more expensive than that. And but carrots is still 11 rand a kilo. And I'm sure Willis plant them in sugar because they are so sweet. So healthy food is really affordable if you look at healthy food alone and not processed healthy food. There's a lot of promises in processed healthy food. And yes, you can go there, but it's not necessary. Jungle oats is a healthy cereal that you can give your children, but go for processed cereals and it's very expensive. Yogurts, cheeses, all of that with a lot of preservatives and colorants and flavorants, it's extremely expensive. So just to tell yourself it's expensive, it's not the truth. I find most of the time when people tell me healthy food is expensive, I say to them, yes, it is. Definitely when you buy the healthy versions and the fast food healthy foods, because somebody else has to prepare that. But if you make it yourself and you can just introduce an apple a day, that is not expensive. So most of my clients, when they start off with our program, they say, at the beginning, they have to buy things like nuts and chia seeds and things like that. And on month 2, then they see, well, the fresh fruit and the veggies is not expensive. Their budget looks better, and their medical expenses looks better. So in essence, our medical expenses went from more than 2,000 a month to 0. And we calculated that over the 20 years, we saved more than R1 million on medical expenses. That R1 million we could use for our lifestyle and to improve our quality of life and to invest that. So it makes a huge difference on the financial side if you invest in your health rather than pay the medical bills or the effects of unhealthy foods. So many moms tell me, I don't know where to start. I don't know how to address this whole thing. It's just too much for me. And this is why I come into play. I've designed a program over spectrum of like 20 years. I did it for my own family. And then I took all the information I had and I compiled the program for moms, especially for moms, how to introduce healthy foods for your family and make it a family thing, not only for yourself or for the one child or the other one. It's making it enjoyable for the whole family. And that is, I broke it down into steps, in 12-week steps, so that you can have a recipe book where you can make brownies. And I will share my brownie recipe with you afterwards. It's a real treat. It was the top seller at the school. And I have this approach of there's super healthy, there's super unhealthy, and there's the middle. So if you just shift from super unhealthy to the middle ground, you already win something. So instead of having that unhealthy store-bought cupcakes, you can rather make your own brownies and have that for a children's party that is better than the store-bought ones, but it's still not the super healthy ones where you have to shift the family right from there to here. But this is a good option and it is good for the children and they just loved it. Okay, so there's basically three principles what to do when your child is overweight or you have a family member with an overweight child. And I'm talking a lot of times to grandparents as well. Many times they are naughty and they are feeding the children the unhealthy stuff when the mom tries to do the good things. So it's actually a society again, it's a family thing to help our children. And what is the three principles that I believe with my whole heart is the answer to this whole issue? And the first one is never to put a child on diet. It immediately creates this tag around their neck that I'm not good enough as I am. I need to lose weight or I need to be different than what I am to be acceptable. So, and it's a heavy burden for them to carry. And I've seen that time and time again. Kids whose parents put them on diets, they lose a little bit of weight and then they gain so much more because there's a holiday coming again. And in holidays, and many times it's children from homes that the parents are separated. So mom try their best to give the kids some healthy nutrition and then they go visit the grandparents or the father but there's always some people on the outside who really just wants to feed that child. And since this child has been deprived of so many joys what the other kids could have but they could not have, then they just overeat on that. So the strategy plan is to never ever put the child on diet. They should not feel they're on diet. You as a parent basically has a secret plan. And it is just how to introduce healthier food into their diet and create healthier boundaries. So with my children, when I at last realized what's the answer, I just decided I will slowly but steadily reduce the not so healthy foods in their diet and introduce more healthier foods. So I started off with their juice. I thought liquid fruit was the answer. It's a healthy juice, but it's not the answer for them. They should actually drink water, but I could not take it away and just give them water. That would create war. So I started to dilute their juice with, I had a lot of ice and we made crushers with them. So half of the glass would be ice and then we would crush it up and then it would be a slushy. And they would love that because it's fun. And as we progressed, the juice was not slowly but steadily taken out of their weekly diet, and then we saved it for weekends, and eventually we did not buy it. We would only buy it when we have friends over. And it took me 6 months to get from here to there, but we did it. And the same with the other junk food. We slowly but steadily just make it little by little by little, reduce the unhealthier foods. When I discovered my daughter was lactose intolerant, so she loved cheese. So I would just reduce the cheese and then saved it for weekends and then saved it for holidays and eventually take it away. So, and replace it with something else that she enjoys. That's a real important thing. Don't just leave a void. So, so children should not carry the weight loss plan burden. It's basically like you as a parent or family members are on a secret mission. And what you do is to help them eat healthily, and they will automatically lose the weight because they are still growing. And without them even knowing that you have a strategy plan behind that. But also the third principle is important, is involve the whole family. You can't give one child a specific plate of food where they have to eat all the veggies and the rest of the family can eat junk food. And I think this is where most people struggle. I know many people, parents where the mom is on board, she wants to make a change, but dad is not on board. And if he drinks Coke and have chips, what's the chance that the kid would be on board? So it takes a real adult discussion and taking responsibility. And maybe if the dad does not want to work together, at least not eat that where the child is, around the child. So to really make it fun, have a real strategy plan to say, we have to win this battle, come hell or high water, we have to win this. And we have to make it a secret battle, but a fun thing for the whole family. And then take it there step by step. So the strategy plan is to make it enjoyable and fun. So while I was at the school, I made a lot of smoothies and juices for the kids. And there was one little one. The mum came to me and she said, the teacher is going crazy. That kid can't sit still for a moment. He's running up and down, like just like going like that. And he's a very picky eater. He doesn't like any food at all. And he would rather drink a juice and then just go and play. So he don't eat well. But she don't want to put him on Ritalin or one of those things. And I suggested to her, let's create some juice, orange juice of a carrot and an apple. We even let him put his own orange through the juicer. But the first 2 weeks was just tears for him. She said to him, and luckily I wasn't the bad guy there. She said to him, you can't go out and play if you didn't get your juice at the cafeteria. So he would come in and he would try to drink it, and we would put umbrellas, in the juice, like it's a island one, and it was hard for him in the beginning. But after 2 weeks, and he was like 9 years old, he said to his mom, I still don't enjoy that, but I'm feeling so much better, so I will carry on with that. And he did. And so by the time it was the end of the term, he was just coming in, hopping in, drink his carrot juice, and then he would run off and have fun. And his parents and the teacher said, total change of the kid's behavior in class, because his brain started to work. It had real nutrients. So we tried to make it fun. And then during holiday, the mom didn't have a juicer, so she gave him his blue cereal again and his junk food. And suddenly one morning he was bumping his head again against the wall, going crazy. She could do nothing with him. His behavior was just out of whack, and she realized it's the food. And she went straight away and bought a juicer for herself. So if your children doesn't like healthy food, start with juicing. It's the easiest way to get the nutrients in the bodies. And try to make it fun. There's a lot of nice ice creams in my recipe book and treats for children. It must be fun. And then what I did, and it works for the young children, between grade 1 and grade 3, they are very open for reward charts. So my children had to eat a certain number of fruit and veg every day before they could get rewarded. And if one reached their 9 stars, then the other one would just go to the fridge and chomp on the carrot or tomatoes or whatever, just to get their 9 stars and get the reward. The reward was something fun for them. And sometimes it was a cookie, and sometimes it was a piece of chocolate or something small, but every day they had something to work for. And over time, it taught them the principle that we have to go for the healthy things first before we get the reward. So they could never have a cookie in between meals. It was always a bowl of fresh fruit or veggies. Most of the time not veggies, but fresh fruit in a bowl on my counter for them anytime to eat. And there's no child that can eat themselves obese on fruit. There's no chance. So fruit will never do that to your children. There's sugar in fruit is not the sugar that you get in a Hewlett's bag of sugar. It's two different things, although there's a lot of nonsense in the industry about the sugar in fruits. Fruit in its natural form is good for kids. Unless they have diabetes, then there's a different strategy. Okay, so what they found with children that worked in their own garden, little garden, planted tomatoes and have their own salads, they were much more willing to try it out. So that's one way. If you love gardening, let the little ones work with you and plant their own stuff. They will try it and see how it tastes. And then at least they start to enjoy, they start to find a love for natural foods. So first of all, what I did with the school as well is to introduce the principle of veggies and fruit and things to them. I even sold what is fire? Can't remember the name. Prickly pear. We we cut it open, put it on forks, and they could have that, and they were very fond of that. Or watermelons on sticks, little triangles of watermelon on sticks. So every season had their own fruit, and the kids could just come and have the bite. And the more natural foods we have, the more we find that the kids love to explore with that. And I find also that many kids didn't even know things like peaches or kiwis. You know, like kiwi is very expensive, but peaches and apricots and things like that, they didn't know what it is, because maybe it is very expensive for the parents, but it's also, yeah, people don't think their kids will eat it, but they do. They always surprises us. All right. So the obstacles on nutrition. What do you do if your child doesn't eat that? The first thing is to replace any unhealthy option with a healthier option. Don't leave a void. Then your kid will feel deprived. If everybody else can do that, I can't do that. So you can have a pink milkshake like that that's very unhealthy with the syrups, or you can make a strawberry smoothie, add a thin slice of beetroot to that, and it will color the whole smoothie as pink as a wimpy milkshake. So you can have different options to create the same look and feel even better with natural foods. So, and start small. Treats is for kids are supposed to be small, not big glasses of things. And what I find with kids, especially with the drinks, is many kids who is on Ritalin and things like that, they don't like to eat. They will drink and go off and play. Obese kids are mostly of them has a sugar addict problem, because they can't stop themselves eating because sugar hijack your brain, and that if that is triggered in at a young age, it will develop in a severe addiction at adult age as well, and it's just terrible for them to live with that. So the idea is to get sugar into their bodies in a natural form, not in a powdery stuff form. So no syrups and added sugars or things like that. Try it with real strawberries and berries and things like that. All of my smoothies are sweet, but it doesn't trick your brain. Okay. And then to replace drinks with more natural things, as I told you with the juices, Coke is, according to me, just a chemical toxin that really destroys the body. So that's a total no-no. But we replaced all the sodas at the school with a healthy iced tea that's made with rooibos. So it's still not the best, but it's already a way better alternative than made with than a soda. So it was rooibos and liquid fruit. So while liquid fruit is still a processed food, it's way better than Coke. So rooibos and the Coke mix. Okay. And then you slowly but steadily move away from drinks to a more natural thing like water. So water most of the time, and you can add frozen pineapple to that or frozen berries. It makes it more fun for them. And over time, just give them their water bottle so that they know this is the normal. We always drink water. And then replace junk food with real food. Ask yourself, anything that doesn't go off within 2 days is probably in the junk food category. Good food goes off. So give them apples, give them bananas, any fruit, and they can have a party with that. We play shop shop. My kids were young and they were playing shop shop, and I only had spinach that I cooked for dinner, and I said to them, I don't have anything else, but here's something for your shop. And they sold out the whole bowl of spinach, and they ate the whole bowl of spinach, the 3 daughters. So I thought, well, good for them. At least they have all their greens in. But as long as things are fun for kids, they will enjoy it. So make it fun. Don't make a big fuss. As soon as we make a big fuss of things, we create a power struggle, and we don't want to go there. You want to create a lovely, warm, fun environment, but not a struggle. So just tell them you just make no big fuss about fruit. It is there for you, and you can have fruit or nothing. If you're not hungry, don't eat. So hunger is a very good thing for kids. All right, and then instead of giving them ice cream that is processed, give them real banana ice cream. If you mix bananas, frozen ripe bananas with strawberries in a food processor, you get soft, it looks like soft serve. And it is really tasty. So I have a lot of recipes for ice creams, even a chocolate ice cream with bananas as the base. So let your bananas ripen very well in, and when they have this black dots on them, that's a ripe banana, it's sweet. You just peel it and freeze it, and then you can make a lovely banana ice cream with a food processor. It is a real treat for kids, and they would love it because it's a natural flavor. So at parties and events, pick a party where they can really play, especially the kids that that's part of the strategy. Let them play if they have a few kilos to lose. So my brother and his wife has a party place with a zip line and a slide, and the slide is big. It's 6 meters high. So for children to get up all the steps to that 6 meters is quite a lot of effort. But they say with the parties that they have there, the kids are loving it so much they don't even come to eat the party food. So if you have a party, pick a party theme that's really active, and then you can buy a watermelon, and that's part of the treat because the children won't miss that. If you have a screen party, obviously they would want all the junk food. So go for the clever options when you book a party. And then lunch boxes, again, if a child eat a proper healthy breakfast, like my children had to eat a bowl of oats and the smoothie for the morning, so it was proper to have enough nutrients to go through the day. They can eat at lunchtime again. But if your child doesn't eat at breakfast, then you can pack a lunch box for them. But be on the lookout for things like processed foods and rather replace that with fresh foods. And I know in the school setup, in the summer, the food goes off. So if you can pack a cool bag with some fresh veggies or fruit, it's okay, but don't put in too many snacks. I just found when I was at the school, there were lunch boxes all over the place after break time. I think parents they invest all their money in lunch boxes because it ends up on the school drain. But try to not give them any sweetened stuff that would spike the blood sugar levels. Like this sweetened muffin is not a good idea. And even the egg, I don't prefer any animal products that can go off quickly in a hot lunchbox. So rather go for the juicy ones like grapes and blueberries and tomatoes and things like that they can eat and enjoy. And an apple is something fantastic, and carrot sticks, that is good stuff with a frozen iced tea. So if you pack a frozen iced tea with the lunchbox, it keeps the lunchbox cold, and it will also give them at 11 o'clock slush puppy iced tea, and that's a good idea for them to have. So holiday food and traveling, again, here you have to be the planner as the mum. How long will we be on the road? What is the theme? Are we driving to the coastal side? How long we will be on the road before we take a break? What is the places next to the road? And my strategy plan always with parties and traveling and events is, what can I do before we are in a situation where I have no control to feed them well so that they are not hungry? So I would prepare some food for the traveling and give them like apples and things. It's really filling because of all the fiber, and give that to them before we stop for a break on the road. And the same with parties and events. When they had to go to a party, I did not restrict them, but I gave them a lot of food for lunchtime so that they are full, and then they don't have all that space for all the junk food. And it also helps to stabilize with the sugar. We can't get our kids completely away from all the bad things, but we can manage when we have the entry point, then to say you can eat first before you go to the party, that's the better option. So make your plans. You have to plan, you have to prepare, and on holiday times, pack good foods. And the same with when you're visiting family members, pack the good foods and the juices or the smoothies so that you know your family have good options. Okay, and then the last one is doing family life together the healthy way. The best families who see the most success is where the whole family contributes. It's a difficult thing if only the mum has to do the hard work. If dad is on board, it's fantastic. And this is what I help my clients with when they embark on a journey with me. So just to give you an idea, I have a few plans, and the Abundant Health one is for the families, where I work out the strategy plan over the spectrum of 12 weeks, give them menus, recipes, everything where they can make the transition from here to there to help the families go in a healthy route. And so there's 8 sessions. My focus is long-term results. I don't do diets. And we focus for 4 sessions on nutrition. And then we look also at the gut-brain connection, concentration levels, their tummies, happy tummies, bright minds go together, and habits. If we want success in the long run, we have to create a habit and a strategy for the future, and that's what we do in our program. So you get a recipe book with more than 100 recipes, and this is some of my clients as a young lady who struggled with her blood sugar levels her whole life, up and down, and eventually, when we managed her blood sugar levels, it got solved. So another lady with some real gut issues, and we see that a lot of times with kids with allergies. It can't get solved with creams and antibiotics and all of those stuff. You have to look at the inside. The gut is extremely important. So this is some of the mums losing weight. This lady has 5 kids, and one of my other clients losing 32 kilos over a spectrum of 3 years, and yeah, some of the other people. So I've just thought, I hope it helps you a bit. I will share a recipe with you on the brownies, and you can try it out for your kids for the healthy party. Any questions? Last 5 minutes. Any questions, anybody? Okay, that was a mouthful tonight. I hope there was something that you can take home. I will share then the healthy brownie recipe with you. That was my top seller. And I hope your family enjoy it as well. It's not that difficult to make. It's actually very easy. So make it for yourself and enjoy it. And happy eating for the whole family. And see you next week again. Bye-bye. Asai, dit was klaar.
Thank you so much, Ilse.
Thank you,
Good
Tony.
night.
Good to see you
I'll
again.
see you tomorrow.
Thanks, Ross. Enjoy
Bye.
yourself. Bye-bye.
Dankie Ilse.
Dis 'n plesier,
Thank you so
Antoinette.
much.
Lekker aan. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed it, Donna.
I did. Thank you very much. I really appreciate the time, hey?
Oh,
And your
I'm so
input.
glad. Oh, thanks. It was a pleasure. I will share the
Thank you.
recipe then. Okay. See
Lovely.
you
I look
again.
forward to it. Have a lovely
Okay.
evening.
You too. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Hi, Carlien. Dankie dat jy bygewoon het.
Baie dankie, ons waardeer dit. As ons vra iets later, dan kan ons 'n e-mail stuur.
Ja, stuur my WhatsApp of 'n e-mail, ek antwoord jou graag.
Okay, sal so maak.
Dis
Daar was
reg.
'n paar
Dank-
bietjies wat ek oor vra het vir later.
Jy's welkom enige tyd. Jy kan maar vra, dis
Ja.
net my dogter wat op die ding is. So sy's my assistent. So
Okay, so ja, ek was maar oorgewig toe ek swanger was met my dogtertjie. En ek het redelik was nogal erg daaroor om haar gewig onder beheer te hou. Maar toe sy nou by pappa begin